This is Ray. We're just going to be able to show you the video for the post-match analysis for the 1-0 defeat away to West Ham. Based on feedback we've received from all our subscribers and viewers, we've revamped the post-match show. So they're going to be a lot more shorter, a lot more punchier, a lot more to the point. So we hope you like the new format. And also, if you like, comment and subscribe to the channel, we will be picking a winner next week who will receive a £20 Amazon gift card. So make sure you like, comment and subscribe. And next week, make sure you watch the next video because we'll be picking the winner live and then we'll be sending them a £20 Amazon gift card. So now, thank you very much for that. Let's move straight to the video and come on, you Spurs.
Welcome to the Spurs 9501 podcast. From Kane to the Lane, the final say on all things Tottenham. Here are your hosts, Steve, Ray, Cam and Jam.
Everybody, welcome back to the Spurs 9501 podcast. This is Ray in London. I've got Cam in Florida. I've got Adam in Basingstoke. So welcome, guys. We're going to do a quick post-match analysis. Again, unfortunately, another defeat for Tottenham against the West Ham. It was their cup final. So we've lost one cup final this season, guys. Let me just quickly go through the lineup. So obviously, I've got Tottenham lineup. So I've got Lloris in goal, got Royal at right back, Romero and Dyer the centre backs, Reguilon at left back. Then we've got Skip and Højbjerg, and then we've got Son, Mora, Ndombele, and Kane up front.
But I think in this case, the stats definitely do lie. We had 62% of the possession. We had 7 shots as opposed to 13 for West Ham. We both had 4 shots on target. We had 4 corners. They had 2. Doesn't matter how many corners we have. We never score anyway. And they committed 11 fouls and we committed 4. I just want to go through another stat that might be of interest to you guys, which is which Spurs player got the worst ratings of them all. And come as no surprise, it was actually Harry Kane.
Let's talk about the first half. Adam, I'm going to come to you, mate. Give us your thoughts on the first half and how it went and how you think it was.
I think we weren't too bad. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how we were going to start. West Ham have been in quite good form. They seem to have clicked the second time round under David Moyes. He's been listening to the boards and they've actually brought in the players he wanted to instead of the owners bringing in the players they wanted to. So West Ham have really clicked this year. I thought it'd be guns blazing for West Ham. I thought they would look at us and think, right, okay, yep, open gates. So I thought we didn't do too bad. And then we just switched off. Like focus, like we always do, and we got punished.
Well, I mean, I really want to just quote Nuno here. We should give him a new name as well, and his new name should be No, because when asked in an interview today whether Spurs lacked creativity in the midfield, he gave a very succinct answer, which was no. I think it's very clear we did lack that creativity. I mean, we can criticize Son and Kane as much as we want, but how much service did they get? How many times did they get the ball? And what actually, I mean, when they did, they created a couple of good chances. I mean, Kane should have scored with that header, I thought, in the first half. I mean, he rocketed it straight at the keeper. Son could have squared it to Kane. He would have had an empty net when he decided to go one-on-one. And I thought for the first 10 minutes, we would look like we were going to get overrun. And West Ham came out to really press high and hard. And I think the word out there is that if you press Tottenham hard, they crumble. What upset me is the way we take control of these games. Yeah, look at the stats, 68% of possession, but it's all passing backwards. It's all slowing the game down and just taking any oomph out of the game. There's no urgency. There is nothing, and I'm going to talk about the second half in a minute. But the lack of urgency and the lack of just completely moving it to a snail's pace, the game is, it's lackluster and it's good to watch if you're trying to sleep. But it ain't much good to watch as a football match. You compare it to any of the other teams. So I could, apart from those chances that we saw, which we normally on a good day, they could have put more, I still couldn't see where the creativity was coming from or where the goals were going to come from, to be honest.
Yeah, and one of the things I noticed was most of the creative passing was coming from people like Dyer and Romero, because people like Winks and Højbjerg, they can only pass it back and they can only pass it sideways. They can't pass it forward. So it must be like starvation for Son and Kane. And I noticed one time when we had actually a corner, and from the corner, I don't know how, but it actually managed to get back to Lloris from the corner, which is unbelievable, really. So,
no, I think you're right. I think you're bang on. I think they play a similar type of football. It's not the Nuno that I knew at Wolves. Cam brought it up perfectly, where they keep on moving it from the back four, moving it to the wings. If they can't go forward, they then switch it back again until someone comes in deep to collect. But they seem to do this thing which really annoys me on the wings. If they start bombing down the wing, if there's one player that will close them down, they won't take them on. They won't try and drive forwards or someone will overlap. They will literally just pass it back and then it will go back again and start rotation. Even, when the clock's ticking and, we're a goal down or 2 goals down, there is no urgency. There's no one really shouting and communicating, come on, let's press these guys. Let's push up and let's move this ball quicker. Nuno just stands there like a spare one at a party. And, there's nothing from him. Nuno's thinking about his holidays, when he's going to get sacked and thinking where he's going to go and spend that paycheck. And, it's the difference between the two is unbelievable.
He was so lackluster that normally when you watch a game, they're always cutting in towards the manager. They didn't even bother cutting in towards him. I don't think it was I saw his face maybe for a brief second in the whole of the first half. Nuno didn't even unfold his arms, I don't believe, for the whole first half. And I know what it does to us fans. It actually literally is. Let's take the example of Liverpool's idea of winning a game is to bomb forward with some of the best players in the world, overwhelm a team. It's like a tidal wave just comes over that team and they just take them straight down. Tottenham's strategy, bore the other team to sleep and to death. Maybe they'll then fall asleep and then we can get around them and stick the ball, 1 goal in the net.
Let's go to the second half now. So we went into the 0-0 in the first half, which, they had a few chances. We had a couple of chances, so it was a good result. What changed in the second half? Why didn't we push on? We had a few chances, I think, Skip missed a corner. There was a cross in the middle. Skip missed it and stuff like Kane, etc. And, I think Ndombele didn't pass. Why weren't we able to execute those? I mean, what's happened now?
I think we're getting in the right positions. Really unlucky for Skip not to put that away. And, it would have been brilliant for him. I think we run out of ideas. Yep. I don't know what was said in the dressing room. If it was, okay, boys, more of the same. We didn't create enough. There's no real spark. There's no real going back, urgency. There's no, there's no sort of, right, okay, we're still in this. We can win this. There's no belief. They just passed and moved the ball a lot better in the second half.
I thought Mora was poor today. What do you think, Adam? What do you think of Mora?
Mora has been poor. Mora seems to have sort of fits and starts where he does well. I still haven't worked out what his best position is.
No shots in the second half, I believe. We had 0 shots in the second half. So let's talk about their goal first. Up until then, I would have thought that we were pretty much in control of the game. It wasn't going anywhere. Nothing was happening. There were a couple of chances. Lloris came out and swept up very well, I thought, a couple of times, and it was good to see the old Lloris running forward again. Before the last couple of seasons, he seemed to have been a bit stuck, and it's good to see him free himself up a bit. I thought that was good, and I was very encouraged by that. They get a good shot on target. Gaia managed to put a block in and Lloris pulls off a good save and they get a corner from which they score. It's typical Spurs, isn't it?
One of the things I saw in the second half was we're 1-0 down. You would have thought we were 3-0 up. We were just passing it around like, there's no urgency, like you said. Nothing happening. And Nuno wasn't even trying to G him up from the side. He's just sitting there with his arms crossed. It's like
arms crossed. The first thing you do when you go down at that rate, when your team's been playing pretty well or whatever, is you get your team, you've got to push them up. Even if he was going like this, get up there, something, right? Push them up. And it's got to be a spark to make a change. There's 20 minutes to go. The other team's been playing 70 minutes. They're tired. Fresh legs are needed. Bring somebody on. Gil comes on in the last 10 minutes. I don't know what you expect him to do in that time. And he lost the ball a couple of times. And we expect Lo Celso to produce some miracle. He hasn't been able to do it for the last 3 seasons. Why is he going to do it in the last 10 minutes?
It's pointless. Absolutely pointless. They're not going to change the game. They're not going to gain anything. They're not going to gain any extra fitness. I scratch my head, really. I really did not understand it. Going back to Cam's point about Nuno and being on the sidelines and stuff like that, not geeing them up, trying in the last 20 odd minutes and stuff like that. There's times when I looked at him and I just thought, he's so lost. Are they really listening to his instructions? His face was just emotionless. There was just no response.
Yep.
Even I'd expect one of his side coaches to come up and start shouting. How many times have we seen Spurs coaches where their assistants would come up, or other teams, their assistants would come up and shout to the players? So it's just, I don't understand it. I really don't.
I think we've given up. I mean, it's just nothing more to say. I mean, if you read his interview notes or see the interview that he gives, he just doesn't seem to get it. I don't think that Spurs are playing how they should be playing. Like I said in our last podcast, I mean, I did compare him to a bowel surgeon. I now compare him to a chiropodist. Who are trying to perform brain surgery. I mean, the guy's not even, he really is out of his depth, and he's not the manager. Even if the team, every single player was playing to their potential, I don't believe Nuno's the man to get the best out of them. That is my problem there.
So, guys, the next part of this is what we call the good, the bad, and the ugly. So, based on a famous spaghetti western, so the good is obviously what you like, the bad is what you didn't like, and the ugly is what you just, the ugly is the ugly. So let's start with you, Adam. Who's your good and who's your bad, who's your ugly?
The good is Lloris. Thought he made some brilliant saves today, especially the deflection off Dyer. Tipped it over the crossbar, well cut, amazing save and reactions. The ugly is definitely going to Nuno. And the bad is just how the team played. Just gutless.
The good, I thought Romero did well. The only thing I didn't like is he's always going to get a yellow card, that guy. And he picked a fight with Fornals, got yellow carded, then he could have got sent off after that. But he's always going to get a yellow card. But I thought he played well, and I thought, I think he did well. The bad is I thought Reguilon wasn't that great really. Defensively, I don't think he's that great. Ndombele wasn't that great, and one to the good, I would actually add Skip as well. And the ugly, well, again, I have to go with Nuno. He's the ugly guy. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't spout any confidence or inspiration from the sidelines. These guys look to the sidelines, see this guy stroking his beard. What was that? So Nuno's definitely ugly for me.
The good for me, I think you've both covered it. I mean, I'm going to say Skip as well, and Romero were definitely the highlights there. I think Dyer had a good game. I didn't see him put a foot wrong either. I think, again, but there is very little good outside of that, to be honest with you. Lloris, I've already mentioned. I like the way that he started sweeping up and coming forward. And it seems to me, as the captain, that Lloris has been begging Nuno to switch to a back three. And since Nuno won't, Lloris has put himself into the back three. So he's been coming out to sweep up, it seems to me. Yeah. The bad, removing those three, every single player on that field was bad. For me, I was absolutely horrified by Ndombele and Mora's performance. The lack of creativity and the they put in a few good balls. Yes, they did a couple of good passes in a 90-minute game, but consistently all through the game, giving us anything that we could, our front two could lash onto. It's easy to attack Kane. It's easy to attack Son, but they're living off breadcrumbs. The ugly is, I mean, you've both given Nuno the poor ugly guy, right? I mean, I'd give his whole coaching staff the ugly, to be honest with you. Or let's give it to Daniel Levy.
Quick question, I forgot to ask you guys. Adam, come to you very quickly. Was it a penalty or not? Zuma challenge on Ndombele?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
I think it was a penalty as well, but they didn't give it. What do you think, Cam?
Well, I think that in every single time it would be given a penalty, but unfortunately, it's the only reason why it wasn't a penalty was because of Ndombele's absolute own fault, or rather than touching the ball like most players do, he steps on it and slips, and then he fouls him. If he had just tapped that ball anywhere, that was a penalty. But when you look at it, he puts his foot on top. I mean, who does that? He totally miscontrolled that ball, and then the foul came in, and he was already going over. Any other time, that 100% sure shot penalty. The only reason it wasn't a penalty is because of Ndombele's bad play.
Let's come to your closing thoughts now. I'm going to come to Adam. What's your closing thoughts on this performance, Adam, and what you took away from it?
Taken away from it, a lot of work. Changes need to be done.
New manager?
Formation. Yeah, manager. I kind of hope that Paratić, Hitchin, whoever's looking after Nuno kind of has a word and says, what's happening. And I kind of hope they've been going into the dressing room at half time and full time as well, and just sort of scoping out what's being said to the players and keeping an eye on training, because it won't stay like this. It can't stay like this. I think it will. I think Paratić and Levy, I think they're going to be stubborn. Obviously, they don't want to go on another manager search and a media circus with this. Who will they be able to attract to Spurs? But things have definitely got to change. Skip, I think, has been really refreshing, and his loan to Norwich has improved him so much as a player, and it's quite nice to see that. He's showing that week in, week out. He's getting stuck in. He looks like he's got passion. He wants to play. And he's showing the other team, the other players up, really.
I mean, we probably landed in the right spot. We are a very, very mediocre mid-table team, and really look good against someone like Newcastle, who haven't won a game yet, and a very average Aston Villa. We looked half decent against them. Arsenal ripped Aston Villa to shreds the other night, and when we looked half decent against them. But as soon as we come up against a team that has got a slight bit of organisation, that slightly knows how to play some decent football, we don't stand a chance. I think the biggest worry for me, Ray and Adam, is the fact that Nuno's checked out, as Adam says, but he's getting all the Spurs fans to check out. We're all losing hope now. It's not about, we were getting really angry with the bad performances. We're actually getting into a position where we just give up and we just don't care. I mean, nobody seems to care, and we're losing the young fans. I
think that's a great point. When we lost, I know this sounds really horrible, but I actually didn't care. I really didn't care. I thought it's another loss. We always lose. We didn't play well. Nothing's different. I couldn't care less anymore.
It's so hard
unless things change, we're going to lose all the fans.
It's
history repeating itself.
Yeah, exactly.
What's happened is that what Nuno has been very successful at is actually planting disinterest right from the top, all the way through the players, and now he's rolling it out into us and into the fans. Players aren't interested. He ain't interested, and now we're all losing interest.
Let's go for a prediction. Come on, Adam. Normally we're the team to bring everybody's season back to life, so we're going to do it for United as well. What's your prediction for next week?
I just think we're going to lose 3-0. Absolutely. And, I don't want to say that, but I actually think this will be Nuno's last game.
2 scores. One is Solskjaer gets sacked tomorrow morning. Conte comes in and we lose probably 4-0. Because he just reshapes that team immediately. Because let's face it, on paper, there's a damn strong team. Just not clicking right. And it just needs that person to shake them up. Bring Conte in and we're dead. Solskjaer stays, I think we could get a draw, a 1-1, and we might even be able to nick it 2-1. So it really depends what happens at United.
I think we'll lose 3-1. I think Adams will get a goal, but we'll lose 3-1. Listen, guys, I know it's a really difficult time today. Really, really bad performance. I don't know where the hope's coming from. I can't actually see any hope coming anywhere. But thanks for joining the podcast. This is Ray, Spurs 95.1. Thanks to Adam in Basingstoke, Cam in Florida, and we will see you on the next podcast, hopefully after a win against Manchester United. We can always live in hope, can't we? Thanks, guys.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
You've been listening to the Spurs 95.01 podcast. Stay in touch, continue the debate, and let us know what you want to discuss by finding us on YouTube. Tune in after the next match day for more insight. Thanks for listening.